According to the United Nations, human rights are rights inherent to all human beings. Human rights include the right to life and liberty, freedom from slavery and torture, freedom of opinion and expression, the right to work and education, and many more. Everyone is entitled to these rights without discrimination. Shabaab has made attempts to suppress human rights in Somalia by forcibly abducting children, recruiting and radicalizing them. Serious attacks are documented as perpetrated by the armed group against women, girls, and average citizens. The protection of civilians, especially women and children, by AMISOM forces and personnel over the years has proven central to rebuilding efforts in the country. The African Committee of Experts on the Rights and Welfare of a Child, as a child rights monitoring organ of the African Union, resolved to undertake an assessment of Somalia and act. Agenda 2040, as a policy framework for Somalia, would see development in the protection and caring for children.
Agenda 2040, it has about 10 aspirations, but aspiration 9 speaks to an Africa that is free from armed conflict.
AMISOM Protection, Human Rights and Gender PHRG cluster set out to effectively mainstream protection concerns and issues within the body and amongst Somali security forces and civilian populations. The PHRG cluster was set up in 2014 and became operational in 2015, intending to guide the mission in the following: strengthening women's protection in peacekeeping operations, introduce gender in peace support operations and the role of gender focal points, and create awareness of Somali culture, Islam, and the international human rights law among its peacekeeping troops. AMISOM, through its PHRG cluster, has remained committed to ending the use of child soldiers in Shabaab rankings and those of its allies, rebuilding and resourcing schools, and facilitating basic education in various sectors with joint government education policies.
We advocate for the protection of these children in times of release from the armed groups, and also stresses the fact that they are children and they were the victims of recruitment, and we need to prioritize their healing and reintegration above every other thing.
There's a strong focus on both the protection and promotion of international human rights law and international humanitarian law.
During the PDT, our operational commanders are reminded of their obligations under applicable law. All manners, gender issues, women protection issues, child protection issues are mainstreamed into our PDT. Give me my number, then we can talk.
The implementation and result of the PDT training is intended to uphold safety of communities in which the security authorities operate. The Somali Police Force, SPF, are trained on aspects of human rights protection.
The steps that we've taken up as AMISOM Police and AU is to try and establish the gender desks and women and child protection units in all sectors. And we also do the capacity building through outreach programs such as co-locating with the Somali Police Force.
The success of AMISOM military operations has liberated many parts of Somalia from Shabaab and paved the way for the protection of civilians.
AMISOM reaffirms its commitment to ensuring protection of civilians in the course of its operations in Somalia. This includes protection of women and children against conflict-related sexual violence,